Lately, it seems like YouTube is burning down, but not a lot of people are talking about how these new changes and these new rules are going to affect musicians, artists, and people who make songs in general on YouTube. Let me give you a hint. There will probably never be another Baby Shark. Hey guys, Dani here, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. So, super quick rundown of COPPA, the FTC, and why everyone is freaking out. The Children's Online Privacy Protection Act was created by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission of the United States government, in order to give children privacy on the internet and protect them from being sold to through personalized ads by collecting information on children. And they define children as kids that are under the age of 13. Make sense? Cool. YouTube spent years and years basically breaking this law, and then on top of breaking the law, also very publicly and loudly were shouting, oh hey guys, look, we're the greatest and most popular source of entertainment for children from ages 6 to 12, even though that's against the law, but look at us. So YouTube basically spent years not only ignoring the law, but blatantly and flagrantly shouting to the rooftops that they were ignoring the law. They eventually got in trouble. Now that they've gotten in trouble, they're being forced to follow the rules. And now that they have to follow the rules, there is a bunch of big changes on YouTube. I am a little late to the party at this point, so I'm sure you have seen 1,000,001 videos on the subject matter. So I'm not going to break down what all of the new different rules are and go into all of those details. If you don't know about them, I'll leave tons of links, and there are, like I said, 1,000,001 videos. What I'm going to do is just specifically focus on how this is going to affect musicians, and I'm going to touch on a couple of misconceptions that I've seen floating around because people are getting a whole bunch of different information from a bunch of different sources. So any information that I am giving you, I'm also going to source a link in the description so that you know that the information that you're getting is truthful. These new rules are going to affect different musicians differently based on the type of music that they make. So I am going to break this down into 3 categories and talk about how each of those categories are going to be affected. The 3 categories are going to be Baby Shark, JoJo Siwa, and Taylor Swift. Starting with the Baby Shark category. Channels that make music like this are definitely going to get hit the hardest. There are no ands, ifs, or buts around it. Music like this is definitely targeted at children, and specifically children under the age of 13. More like 5 and under. This means for musicians who make content similar to this and make a lot of revenue off of YouTube for making content similar to this, they will no longer get personalized ads, which is where a majority of the money from ad revenue comes from. They will also no longer be able to have comments, cards, end screens, notifications. Their videos can't be saved in a playlist. They won't have a community tab anymore. There will be no stories, and there'll be also no notification bell. So yeah, they're gonna get hit hard. And you can either choose to continue to make content like that and find other sources of revenue, or you just keep making content for the sake of making content and just live with it. The second category, which I called JoJo Siwa, is where things get a little more sketchy and complicated. There are basically 3 categories that the FTC will place your content into. It's either made for kids, definitely not made for kids, or made for general audience. So a mix in between, some kids might watch it, but also adults are watching it. It's not specifically targeted at kids. The reason why this category is so sketchy in terms of music is because if you take a song like JoJo Siwa's Boomerang, I'ma come back like a boomerang. In my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this as legal advice, but in my opinion, that is content and music directed specifically at children. But then on the other hand, if you take Kenzie Ziegler's music, for example, who you think you are to act so cold? Just because you're hot. I would say that that would be more in that mixed category where it's more for general audiences. Even though both of these girls are, obviously they came up around the same time in the same platform and are around the same age. So that's where things get a little bit sketchy. The other sticky factor for this type of content that makes this a little bit more complicated is the fact that one of the requirements that the FTC looks at to see if it's child directed is the age of the actor or the model. So the fact that both Kenzie and JoJo are under the age of 18 makes it more likely that they're going to say that that is child-directed content. This also means that even if the song that is being performed is very clearly for general masses, groups like Mini Pop Kids and Kids Bop, where they're singing, like I said, general mass music that's made for everyone, but is being sung specifically by children, and obviously the main reason is because you don't want kids to have inappropriate content, so that's why they're changing the lyrics, and that's why they're redoing the songs. That's, again, in this weird gray area. I would say that's child-directed, but, again, consult a lawyer. But this category, if you fall into this category, seriously consult a lawyer, because this is the category where things are not very clear. The last category is what I called Taylor Swift. In this category, I'm putting all mainstream music, doesn't matter what genre of music, country, pop, rock, whatever, but mainstream music that's on Billboard. Doesn't even matter if you're just an up-and-coming, you've never been on Billboard, but if you're in that kind of area, it's very clear that your music is for the mass market. You should be fine. Obviously, the traditional music video type content is more generally seen as mixed content. So if that is the content you're making, I wouldn't worry too much unless you kind of fall into those other two categories. So for people like me who make the type of music that I make, I'm not too worried about changing my content for adapting to these new rules. So let's clear up a couple of misconceptions before we go. First of all, you are not going to be fined $42,000 per video if you violate COPPA. You should be following COPPA, but in the event that something happens and you're getting fined, you are not going to be fined $42,000 like everyone is saying you are. What it actually says is that you will be fined up to $42,000. And it is also clearly written in COPPA's rules by the FTC that they take into account what the business's earnings is and the impact on the fine for that business. So YouTube, for example, who makes millions and millions of dollars every single day and was so blatantly breaking the rules and shouting to the heavens that they were breaking the rules, they're going to be fined $42,000 per video. But you, me, and the average small little musician, they are not going to bankrupt us with fines. That's not their goal. That's not anyone's goal. So if you do find yourself in trouble, please rest assured that you don't need to save $42,000 in some savings account somewhere. That is not what you're actually going to be fined. It is a sliding scale. The second misconception that I have seen running around, mostly because of the way that YouTube set up the new system and makes it seem like this, and I did mention this earlier in the video, but people think that there are only two categories: for kids and not for kids. But in actuality, there is a third category, which is mixed or general audiences. If you think of a movie, think of a video game, for example, and it's rated E for everyone versus rated T for teen. E for everyone includes people that are over the age of 40, that are over the age of 20, that are over the age of 18. It also includes people that are 5, 6, 7 through 12, but it's appealing to everyone. And if it's appealing to everyone and someone is using a YouTube account that is meant for 13 plus, the FTC is not gonna say, oh, well, you should have known that these people were under 12 and fine, bankruptcy. No. Because people are thinking that there's only two options, if we use the example of Paint, who made the After Ever After songs about Disney, I don't know who remembers that, don't know what happened to that dude. People are thinking that what's going to happen is, oh, just because there is a Disney character in this thing or it's about Disney, you need to mark that for kids. When in actuality, a song like that would actually be labeled under mixed, so you would click the not for kids button on YouTube, because if you actually listen to the song, there are some mature themes in there. But yes, of course, it is about Disney, so kids may stumble upon it and kids are probably going to watch it, but it's not meant and directed specifically for children. If even after hearing all of that, you are still worried about how these changes are going to affect your AdSense/YouTube revenue, I implore you to diversify your income sources. Musicians are in an amazing place in the market where we have so many different ways to monetize what we do and make money, and we don't need to rely on YouTube, whereas let's say a gaming channel, for example, would more so need to rely on AdSense. We have a lot of products that we can sell. There is always the classic Patreon and selling merchandise. But for musicians, we can take that one step further. We don't just need to do the very classic tees and hoodies. We can go above and beyond to make more revenue. You could sell things like visual songbooks, sheet music, personalized handwritten lyrics. There's a whole bunch of different possibilities. You should also make sure that your music is available for purchase in a variety of places in a variety of formats to appease anyone who wants to buy your music versus streaming it. You can also always do live shows or virtual online concerts, so all hope is not lost. I really hope that this clears up everything, or at least most of everything, for everyone so that people can calm down a little, people can feel more at ease. I am leaving a whole bunch of links to the actual sources of where this is saying, so what FTC is saying, what YouTube is saying, in clear black and white for you so that you have a chance to read everything yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below. I will answer anything that I possibly can as fast as I can, because I know this is very scary for a lot of people. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to get weekly music content. I will see you guys again next week. Bye.